Afternoon, sir. Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening, Pastor. Good evening.
Afternoon, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you all?
Good, thanks.
Any concerns, any questions?
At this moment.
Not right now, sir.
All right.
I'll let you know.
Anything you'd like to talk about for a little while we give the others a few minutes?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Is there anything you'd like to speak about for a little? Anybody? Nobody?
Not at this time, sir.
All right. Courses like this, people always have a lot to talk about. I don't understand. Or topics like these.
The information is very interesting, right? And some of that you could relate to, some of them you would have heard scenarios to that effect, but
Okay.
it's just going to it's storing in the bank for when you need it.
Okay. This is a quiet class.
So your customer rowdiness?
Oh, the other classes I had with this, when we had this particular course, boy, I wasn't
Popping
wrong,
up.
but they were very vocal, a lot of questions, a lot of discussions. We can put the document on the screen for the time being.
All right, so I have a question.
You do.
Yeah. I remember telling somebody today that they had. I know this lady, she have two children, two girls, and she grew them up more or less on her own. But she's not a very forgiving person. The older daughter that she took out wedding bands or something like that for almost a year, and then coming down before it expire, she tell the mother probably 2 weeks or something before she get married. And she was hurt. She was very much disappointed because, it's her first child and she wanted to experience that joy and whatever, right? So the daughter did end up getting married, but she did not attend.
Okay.
And she told me yesterday that the daughter called her. Well, the daughter apologized. There was a little rift because they were living together and the daughter wasn't speaking to her, and then she moved out and whatever. And the daughter told her, invited her to live with her.
Okay.
So I said, well, what you say? She said, I tell her, I not giving no child no opportunity to put me out. I said, but she's trying to reach out to you. I say, you're hard, and she not she's not interested in reconciling or restoring the broken relationship. She just kind of aloof, and she will talk whatever, but how you can get to that person like that? I don't know if the fact that the daughter did that hurt her so much, but generally speaking, she's not a person to give second chances. So how do you deal with a situation like that?
Well, to start with, anybody like to attempt?
Sister Allison,
Sister.
that is a serious issue you're talking about here. I would say refer to the professionals. Because if you try to that individual seems to be very set in her ways. I assume she's an elderly person and she may have gone through or experienced a very difficult life. I didn't hear anything about her husband. She had to be, strong for her children, and to be hurt in such a manner, it is not an easy thing to overcome. But I don't know. The daughter still reaching out. I would encourage the daughter not to give up and to continue, showing her the support, and maybe try to find the root of why the daughter felt she had to go behind her back and get married.
Well, what the daughter says that she didn't want anybody in her business. So I said, well, what she mean? Even though, they had a good relationship. Even though the daughter told her earlier on, she would have said, well, mommy, though, because I think the mother just confided in two of her sisters. Well, mommy,
Oh.
I just wanted between me and you or whatever. But the daughter didn't do that. She keep it hidden. And then probably 2 or 3 weeks, I can't remember exactly, before she get married, and she dropped the bomb, and she was really hurt because the morning, I think she did it the weekend, and the morning when she came, she was talking about it and the tear running down her eyes because she really felt hurt and disappointed and that is the daughter who she just moved good with. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what caused
She
that.
felt that a betrayal, a trust.
Disrespected in that
Yeah.
regard because she wanted to experience that moment with her daughter. So she
And she has other children.
just two of them. She and the Charan father broke up and she mind them and she put her by herself and
Seeing her hard life.
yeah,
Yeah.
she
Can
really
understand why she feel
Sister
like
Allison, could I interject a little bit?
feel free.
Um, I'm thinking in the line of where probably the expectation that the mother has for her daughter in terms of who she marries. Probably I'm thinking that the person that her daughters that she selected to marry may not have been up to the standard as she where the mother is looking at. And she probably hid the relationship for such a long period of time. And she didn't have the how should I put it? She didn't have the courage to come forward to tell her mother about the wedding ban until the last moment. Um, could it be a situation like that where the expectation that the mother had for her daughter, it was not what she had selected?
No. The guy she
Okay.
was dating, they've been going around for a while, and the mother expected them to end in marriage, right? But the fact that the daughter hid it for so long is the grievous part because eventually she know they would have gotten married, right? But she don't understand why you keep it undercover because you don't want nobody to know your business.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and those are some good ideas, good things that were suggested. It was always important to understand from the person, well, individually. I think asking the mother to come live with you just like that would merit a reaction, rather. Why is it now? When time to get married, they did not even speak to me about it. You want me to come to live by you now? No, that is too big a decision, something too big to ask off the bat. So she should have gentled herself into that area. Don't come out and just ask her to come live with her now. It would show to the mother a hurt conscience. So find out from the mother why she feel like that. There will be individual sessions. And the daughter, why she kept it from the mother. Bearing in mind that they had a good relationship. So anything else will be speculation. You'll have to speak to both persons individually to find out their position, where they are and why they are feeling like that, why you feel she did not say, why she did not say. You have to find out. As a mother, yes, it will hurt, but it will not change that you are her mother. If I tell you my experience was something like that. When I got married, well, I did not have a wedding, actually. We registered at the warden office in Cooper. My mother knew I was going to get married because I told the whole family. I told my mother, I said, I'm only telling you because you're my mother and I'm concerned about you. I care for you. But in the wedding, you'll not be asked to do anything because I have 2 witnesses already, and that's all I need. The young lady, myself, and 2 witnesses. I said, and you are not one of the witnesses. because of the position that you hold and the disagreement you have to my choice. But I'm telling you, when's the wedding, the time, and it's going to take place at Coover Warden Office. But you will not be asked to do anything in the wedding. I said all of that to her before. She did come to the wedding. And a significant other sat in there around the table when everything was done, documents signed up and everything, and was angry that she did not have a part to play, did not sign herself. I said, but I told you that before you came, and I told you why I'm inviting you. Not because I want you to do something, and because as my mother. Well, she came. At that time, she used to work at a garment factory. She said I made her lose a day work to come to the wedding, and she had nothing to do in the wedding. I said, "What, lady? I told you that before." So I gave her some money and I said, "Listen, this is for the day work you lost. So you lost nothing on my behalf." The gentleman that came with her, my father had passed already. He wanted to take us out for a dinner. And I said, "I'm sorry, sir, but I will not go anywhere with you since you're not part of this family in any way." And that was the end of the matter. Did it go down good? No, because I did not follow the instructions of my mother as to who I should get married to. My question was simple to her. If I would do this that you are asking and something goes wrong, and the person is unwilling to make a life, would you say that you are responsible for a breakup or a separation or a problematic relationship? No. And that's my point exactly. I says, this is my choice. If we are having challenges, it is my choice. I worked through it. We worked through it. And you are not responsible for that. But it did not end there. It wasn't that easy for the greater part of 15 years until we moved out from there. But I maintained relationship with her until she passed. So it's not always easy. You have to find out from both of them independently why you're holding such a position as not forgiving your daughter. What caused you to be so disappointed or so hurt by it? And ask the daughter the same questions to see how we can bridge the gap. Otherwise, it will continue to go like that and nothing will be resolved. But I think to ask her to come live with her after being married was being forward. It was too quick to do something like that. But she should have started to rebuild a relationship before making such a request.
So she did start to reach out to the mama now. But it's just that the mom keep standing at a distance.
Well, you see, there's a reason. So this is what I'm saying. Have a conversation individually with both of them. Because the mom will just see her reaching out to ease her conscience. And now that not out of real concern. So those little things will have to be established before. And then they cannot do it by themselves. You'll need an objective third person. So what you need there is a bit of mediation, more than counseling. I'm seeing Brother David smiling there. Okay, let us see if we can get what we have on the screen done, and then we continue. So, Sister Allison, that's the direction I have to go with that.
Yes, sir. And have a little problem in that regard.
Huh?
I say they might have a little problem in that regard. Because I don't think the daughter knows she will be talking to me. I don't have any access to the daughter, but she comes and she vents, right? And I will listen to her and I know try to this morning I tell him, she you're hard, but you're hard. Child, trying to reach out to you. But
No, don't tell her she's hard. Ask her if something were to change, what would it look like, or what would it be for reconciliation? So you're putting the responsibility on her rather than on the child. Yes?
yes, sir.
But sometimes mediation is necessary. And the mediator must be an objective third person who he or she is not a referee or a judge, but the end result is a win-win, where reconciliation takes place and the relationship begins to be rebuilt.
To rebuild. Amen.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing Brother Sheldon shaking his head there. Yes, Brother Sheldon?
Yes, Pastor. Yes.
I see even when the camera is not on, you know.
You know us too well, Pastor. You know us too well.
Did I seen in the realm of the spirit there?
Well, some people may describe it like that. But I do say that to people, and I said that to a young lady many years ago. I remember in church, well, they were both close. I'm sorry they did not get married, but they were close. And the advice the young lady got from a pastor was not good advice. I'm not sure if she and the person is still married. But anyway, when I was introduced to her, she asked me if I'd remember her in prayer. And I said to her, say, young lady, we don't know each other quite well, right? She said, no. I said, I'm not saying the request is a bad one. I can do that. but I want you to know something up front before you agree, or before we agree to that. She said, what is that? I said, you'll not be able to hide anything from me. I will tell you your business. I said, are you willing to go for that still? She said, after a brief consideration, she said yes. And I said, well, okay. About 3 weeks after, I called her and I said something to her. And she said to me, she said, Pastor, anything you say to me, I'll believe it as if God said it. I said, and why would you do that? She said, because we have not spoken about these things and you're telling me things that we have not spoken about. I said, well, it's called a word of knowledge. I said, but I am concerned about the statement you made. She said, what is that? I said that you're going to accept everything I say to you as word of God. I said, and that is a mistake. You don't ever do that with nobody, because you're setting up yourself for exploitation. I said, I will not exploit you, but that's what you're setting up yourself for. So I continued sharing little things for her back and forth, and she was stumped by some of the things I was sharing with her. And then the last thing I shared with her, one day I called her and I said, young lady, this is really bothering me, and I need to say it to you. She said, what is that? And this was like around end of September. And I said, are you serious about getting married to this young man on the 14th of December? And I lost her for a few minutes. But I know she was there because I'm hearing her breathing. And then she said, oh my God, Pastor, we ain't telling nobody that yet. And you telling me? not only are you telling me about the marriage, you're telling me about the date also? I said, remember I said to you that to you before. I will tell you your business. But after I told her that part of her business, I lost contact with her. So I observe quietly and I say things quietly and do not always make loud noises about it. But that's how it goes. So we're looking at this topic here, the purpose for hurts and pains in a marriage or in any relationship. And there is a purpose because hurts and pains are unavoidable. The only time it is avoided, remember I gave you that little scenario about the husband and the wife who went on horseback riding, yeah? Remember that?
So you could repeat. I'm trying to catch
Somewhat,
up.
sir.
Huh?
Somewhat.
What's that?
To a point, sir. To a point. I know somebody fell off the horse a couple times.
Uh-huh.
I know that for sure.
That was the wife.
Oh
She didn't
yes, oh
fall
yes,
off.
oh yes, I
She
remember,
didn't
I
fall off.
remember.
The horse threw her. And the third time it threw her, she got up,
Oh,
opened her purse, pulled out a revolver, and shot the horse. And the husband said, well, why did you do that? He said, the first time the horse threw me, I got up, I pat the horse. I showed the horse appreciation and I got back up. The second time I did the same thing. The third time you expect me to do that again, or the third time you're out? So the husband realized that, hello, the mistakes you have made already, you need to make that the last. So there was no quarrel in that relationship, no hurts and pains anymore. Everything was quite good after that. Because after the third strike, he knows what was coming. But there's a purpose. The purpose is really to inform you, to educate you, and to mature you. Threefold purpose. In order for it to be of assistance to you in the building process, the focusing process, the bonding process, these are some questions that you can ask. Evaluate by asking questions. And you're not evaluating the relationship. You're evaluating what you're learning from the hurts and pains, the experiences, in order to go forward. Because you already want to build this relationship. So there must be an evaluation. So you ask, why are we experiencing these hurts and pains? Such a question should be avoided. And that is the why question I'm talking about. But rather you ask, what questions? I should put what questions to the side there, should have. So maybe I'll do that the next time around. So when they arise, you ask, what are we not seeing here? Not what am I not seeing? We. Because too often it's just one person that it is focused upon. But what are we not seeing? What are they revealing to us? That is the hurts and the pains. What are they saying to us? What should we be learning from this experience, from these hurts and pains? What should we be learning? Because if you're learning nothing and changing nothing, things continue the same way. What should be our response? Our responses here. And then you both become personal. What should I do to change this? What should I change? And I'm talking about persons there, asking these questions. Are we where we ought to be in the relationship, that is? What was our goal and what is our goal now? How can we get back on track? What plan or plans do we have to get? Do we have to get back on track? How can I maximize me for the relationship? How can I add value? How can we add value to each other? We got married to love and to cherish each other for the rest of our lives. Because that's our commitment, that's our covenant. So these are some questions that can be asked in order to reconnect and rebuild. And I'm certain you might be able to add some more questions to it if you so desire. Do not run or try to get away from it. You deserve a happy marriage. And it is very possible that your focus is or may be wrong. Running at this point will not give you what you're looking for. In running, you may have the relive nostalgia of starting again, but the truth is that challenges will arise, hurts and pains will come again. Would you keep running? The happiness you desire and seek has become your focus, while you neglect the marriage relationship. To achieve such, you must rebuild it, or the happiness you seek will elude you. So we need to be aware. If you focus on fixing the marriage, you will find that happiness will follow, since continual attending to it will produce a good marriage. So one man said, it is as a garden. If you need to have it looking good and you need to be proud of the garden, then you need to put in the work. Do the weeding, the cleaning, the fertilizing, the attending to. Have you ever reflected and considered your single days? Being single, you yearn for the thrill, excitement, and comfort and happiness of marriage. Fantasizing also, yes? But you soon realize it does not just happen. And sometimes after, because of the hurts and pains, you look back in retrospect. What is a retrospect looking back? Being married now, the desire, the yearning continues for happiness. But now maybe through singleness again is what many people think. Divorce or perhaps someone else. So you see, simply put, the happiness has eluded you, though it is a product of a good marriage. And mind you, a good marriage is not without its challenges. No relationship is without its challenges. So you have your work cut out for you. Stand fast. Encourage yourself. Dig in. Don't bow out, but take a grip of yourself and fix your marriage. Remember your covenant and commitment to have a good marriage. And I'm saying it again, remember your covenant and commitment to have a good marriage. So that's what you are fixing yourself on. Leaving will not give you that. Running will not give you that. Because it matters not who the person is. These are experiences of every single marriage, every single one I'm saying to you. What makes the difference is how you treat with what is before you. Find a place of disconnection and reconnect it. So you're finding where the disconnect is, reconnecting it. So the relationship will benefit while you are maturing. Remember, the benefits of any good thing is found in hard work, evaluation, endurance, and commitment to keep it growing and glowing from day to day. It will not just happen. So you need to be aware of that. Whatever you ascribe much value, importance, and significance to, you will go hard after it. Understanding that great desire, dedication, and keeping your focus will bring great success. Anybody would like to say anything? Would like to share something?
So I have a question.
Okay.
So when you spoke earlier on the what questions, right? The series of
Yes.
what questions.
Uh-huh.
Could these questions be used like in premarital counseling as well, or does it have to be in marriage itself?
No, you can use it anywhere, but the whole idea is that what you'll be using it for.
Okay.
For example, if you're using a premarital counseling and you're considering that, okay, what would you do if you have a challenge, a disagreement?
Right.
Tell me of a disagreement you had. And most people in premarital counseling say, well, they don't have any. And you're right away, that's a lie, right?
Yes.
So, so the whole idea is say, okay, tell me of the first disagreement you had. So they may be looking at intensity of it, how heated it was, how loud it was. Tell me of the first challenge you had, disagreement you had. How did you handle it? What was your focus? So it depends on what you're treating with. You can use what questions in any place because you want to focus them onto a particular thing. But remember, these questions are not for you just to ask them. They need to make it their own in order to find where they are, in order to go to where they should be.
All right. Okay. So they will be more or less answering the questions, asking and answering the questions for themselves.
Well, you can suggest the question, okay, from the agreement. So tell me a little about the disagreement. What did it reveal to you? What did you learn from it?
Yeah.
So you see how we can ask the questions. But there must be something that you're focusing on in order for the question to be relevant and applicable.
All right.
So Angelina is thinking out loudly there. Not verbalizing, but she's thinking out loudly. Are you all right? Sister Angelina, are you okay?
Yes, Pastor.
So what's the loud thought about?
Sorry, what's the loud thought about? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes. I'm hearing you thinking out loudly. So I'm encouraging you to verbalize. Okay, she's just affirming that she is thinking out loudly, but she don't want to verbalize. This is for your consideration as to the reality of such a relationship. And the reality I'm talking about is having a good relationship, having success in your relationship. And good and successful relationship is not void of its disagreement and its challenges. I want you to know that. We all have it. So not because I'm sharing this with you, it means that I don't have my times also. We all have it. How you treat with it is important. And at every level of your relationship, you will have it. So it might be good for a few years, and then you see, you move from one juncture of excitement and life, or in the slow stage of the stages of a river flowing, and then you have some challenges. It's not that something is wrong, it's just that the needs are different at that point. So you keep changing some of the stuff in order to keep it alive and fresh. So attention must be given. The closer you get to someone, the more you will see. And the real possibility is that you may step on the person's toe. Well, stepping on the toe will not be rubbing off. Except you're doing the Macarena dance where your legs are far apart from one another. And it is speeded up. Do you think in being close it can be prevented? No. The certainty of hurts and pains are real in any relationship. You say things to each other that you should not have said. You do things to each other that you should not have done. You get angry and react when you should respond and find solutions for the issue. Remember the care you took before in speech and action during courtship is not there anymore, since you have both conquered and the thrill has since dwindled. Your manner in expression of love and commitment is not there as before. You have started taking each other for granted. You forget that marriage is a covenant that ends at death. So the working should continue for its building. So it's not done until it's done. Understand this. You alone have the ability, the power and ability to change your marital situation, except if decisions are already made. I'm not saying that you alone can make it work, but you can change some situation, except decisions are already made. Sometimes people already make the decision to separate. They want nothing to do with it anymore. They don't even want to consider working at it. So in speaking to such people, they may not even want to say why they want out. They just want out, and they don't have a clue as to why. And oftentimes what I have observed in my time of working with people is the why, and responding to the why they want out of the relationship is not the reason many times for wanting out. They don't have a clue really why they want out of it. Be responsible, own up, and ask forgiveness. Change the way you do things. Change your perspective for happiness. Fulfillment is in your hands. So if you change your perspective and change the way you do things, things can be changed. You both have the potential to fashion your marriage according to your dreams. Understand that and go for it. Hurts must be addressed. They will not go away. When forgiveness is given, grudges and hurts are set aside for reconciliation to take place through acceptance. And if you don't accept each other after reconciliation have taken place, it means forgiveness was not given and received. So reconciliation cannot take place because you don't accept each other. So good talk alone will not fix it. You have to show what is required. Give and reach out to each other as you both did before you got married. Recreate the memorable times. And I should have added to that. Recreate the memorable times as to where you are presently. Remember, you are the same persons that were madly in love, as you would have said before, and are now married. You both loved and still love each other, but something went wrong. Find it. Find it, since it is within your realm and capacity. Identify it and be intentional and purposeful in building your marriage. Good relationships are not without its hurts and pains. They have a purpose to serve. So allow them to do what they must do to fit what must be done to fill your desire. Good marriage relationship requires a concentrated giving of time, committed effort, and energy expended for its well-being. The relationship you want is not a pie in the sky, nor is it impossible, but it can be achieved. If it is what you really want, and I think it is, then you will go for it. What people see as important, they will strive for it. Consider it well. The hurts and pains are residual in a marriage. It cannot be exorcised, and it cannot be boxed and put in a room and lock it up for the rest of your life. It is residual. They are residual in a marriage and a relationship. Now be responsible. Act appropriately to develop yourself and embrace what is to achieve what you want. So you need to be aware of some of these things. Running from the hurts and pains will not remove them nor solve them. You will soon realize, however, when you would have stopped running and turned around, they would be right in your face. And when you return, they'll be waiting there for you. I'm not saying if you return, but when you return, because a good marriage can be built. Such a marriage requires T. Time, energy, effort, or work, and you being responsible. And I'm talking about both persons, you being responsible. Believe it or not, pains and hurts are faithful attendants in your marriage. That's a hard one, right? But they are faithful attendants. They are there to help fashion the development and well-being of your marriage. Be responsible and take charge of your thoughts and life, thus making the marriage you desire for yourself, since your marriage is in your hands. It is in your hands. Any questions, any concerns? Anybody like to say anything?
Only when we had read that part where you said whatever you ascribe much value and importance and significance to, you will go after it. So the thought that came to my mind is what you put in essentially is what you will get out.
Well, yes. Generally, that's what it is. So what they say, Gigo? What goes in, goes out. So if garbage goes in, then garbage will come out.
Basically.
But if gold goes in, then gold will come out.
I have a question.
Yeah. I'll try and answer it for you.
Okay. I was so hoping I could phrase this question correctly. Okay. Marriage basically is work, right?
Yeah, in one word, yes.
Right. It is work. But what about if you have one person willing to work at it and another person unwilling?
But then you don't have a marriage.
But it's like, yeah, okay. So it needs two persons to work at it.
Yes.
But
marriage is not one person.
right. But in terms of if one person recognizes there is an issue and attempts to talk to the other person about it, but the other person doesn't see that as an issue or doesn't want to discuss it.
Well, as we have said many times through the class and even in counseling class, find the appropriate time.
Mm.
Rather than addressing it directly, create a scenario. Use an illustration. If something like this would happen, what do you think should be done?
Mm.
So utilize the
The
mannerism
hypotheticals?
of Nathan when he spoke to David. He said, "O king, there was a man who had some visitor, and he had 100 sheep, but he did not kill one for a feast for his visitors. But he sent by his neighbor who had one ewe lamb, and took that and killed it, and made a feast for his visitors." What do you think, O king? The king said, "Such a man should be put to death." And Nathan simply said, "You are that man, O king." He did not have to tell him how he was unfaithful and how he brought across Bathsheba, Uriah's wife. He knew exactly what he was talking about off the bat. And he started to weep. He started to cry. He did not get angry with him. Find the appropriate time. And you had a good suggestion. You said there are some things that you will talk about. You normally go for a drive. So find something that works in order for you to achieve what you're looking for. And God made us very innovative and creative, so we can find ways to do that. Yes, anybody else?
Yes, sir. Based on Sister Sharon's comment or conversation, this a lot of times what does take place if one party willing to reconcile the marriage or to work it out, the next person does normally try to fix the person rather than fix the situation. And based upon my experience, that does go real haywire. So as we hear plenty times in this course here, hey, this is the situation. It happened to me and you. Put it on the table. How we dealing with it? Many a times, what we just do, uneducated, ignorant of the fact, we just attack each other as saying we because I did it before, right? We attack each other and feel that they play the blame game. Hey, it's your fault, it's my fault, it's your fault, it's you where we have the money, but we really not fixing the situation that has us in this position. So that is why many a times that one person might be willing to work and the next person blaming that blame game that we playing.
So we see that spirit, that attitude have not changed, right? Since Adam. Because when God said to Adam, "Adam, what have you done?" He says, "The woman you gave to me." He did not take responsibility. He said, "Eve, what have you done?" She said, "The serpent." And that same attitude continues today. We need to take responsibility. We need to see it as our commitment, our covenant, our relationship. How can we work through it? So the whole idea is that When you're speaking to couples like that, that is asking to have individual session, at least one each, to find out why you're unwilling to work, to fix, but you want to continue in the relationship. So it depends on some of the responses of the people. They merit individual sessions. If you don't, then you see will not get some of the answers that is required in order to fix. Because the individual session will give you the information you're looking for to focus on going forward as to what must be done by both of them in order to go forward. As the counselor, it is not your responsibility to fix it. It is their life, their marriage. You are there to help them prioritize and arrange what is happening in order for them to work through it. But working through it is their responsibility alone. So don't ever feel as the counselor, you can fix it. No, you can't. If I would just go back a bit to what Sister Allison asked earlier concerning the mother and daughter. Sister Allison cannot fix that. The mother and daughter have to understand why they are holding such a position and why they did what they do. Or why they did what they do, and find middle grounds if they want to continue a relationship as mother and daughter, or rebuild what they had before. So you'll have to find a disconnect in order to rebuild, to reconnect and rebuild. But if the both persons are unwilling to meet each other halfway or part of the way, you cannot do that. As the counselor, is nothing you can do. Remember, counseling is not about you, it is about the person or persons sitting before you. You are just helping them arrange, prioritize, and clarify. Assist in formulating a plan, but they have to take the responsibility to work the plan and to go the distance. You can't fix it. I cannot fix it. Before I came on class, I had a session with a young lady. And the youth leader in church was there too, because in a sense, I'm mentoring her a little for the young people. And since we have been having a session, this is the 4th session we have had, and she have come a long way. Her whole countenance have changed. Not only her speech, the way she's looking have changed, because she's more relaxed, she's more comfortable, she's at peace, still having some challenges, but in a better place physically, emotionally, and psychologically. So as far as the PEP principle is concerned, she's in a better place. So that is your function as a counselor. You cannot fix it for them.
So,
Yes.
so my question is going in line with that. At what point in that type of a scenario do you, or how do you say this is not helping, or this is not going anywhere, this is not having a positive, and probably reach the point of saying, well, then I think we should not go further, or do we? I mean, we can't go on forever if some level of understanding doesn't come. But what are the signs, or when do you see it as that's the way to go, or do you recommend someone else, or what?
Well, it depends on what is happening, okay? From the time I reach around the second or third session, depends on the direction it's going, I will start to wean the person. Depends on the responses and how the person is working with the information. I start to wean them. Others may take a little more time, so maybe after 4 or 5 sessions, you start to wean them. An important question to ask that is simple at the end, before you end any session, is to ask, how has this session helped you today? So in a real sense, you're evaluating their willingness to work, and they're working with the information. Are you any better today because of what was discussed, not only this evening or this morning, but since we have been meeting? Yeah, things have been okay. Identify just 2 things for me, please, that you feel have improved since we started. And you affirm, okay, that's good, that's good. So sometimes what you do is to ask, what would you like to treat with the next time we come or we meet together? So you're making them part of the process also, rather than you dictating. Like in my session today, well, since we started, I started off with individual psychology, where I was working with the person to understand that you're a person, you are valuable as God have made you, and so and so. Then I integrated individual psychology with cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. And I showed how important your thinking is in determining who you are going to be and how you're going to become that. And I work with those 2 for 2 sessions. And then today, I did mainly nouthetic counseling or biblical counseling, which is still CBT, because the Bible teaches in order for you to change behavior and change who you are to become who God made you to be, your thinking must be engaged. Because thinking produces words and conversation. Your conversation determines your habit, your behavior, and your behavior determines your character. So you ask a question at the end of every session as you evaluate if you're getting through with them and if they are willing to work with the information. And if they're not willing to work at all, you will realize that, you will see that. So then you can make that decision and let them know. I don't think I can carry you any further. I may have to refer you. You may have to find someone else to take you beyond here. They may ask, can you recommend somebody? You can go ahead and recommend somebody, let them know. Depends on who it is or where it is. It may cost you something. So you let them know things like that. So you don't have to keep them coming to you and they're unwilling to work. Then if that's the case, and you realize that 2-3 sessions and it is confirmed, then the purpose or the reason for which they're coming to you is not good. So you need to cut. So what are some of the reasons why they may be coming still? It is because they're feeling comfortable in your presence. They're feeling fulfilled when you talk to them or what you're saying to them. They like your company. So the motive is wrong, so you need to cut. Because if it continues, you'll be setting up yourself. And you will not realize when the border was crossed. So I trust that helps out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll take it up again tomorrow evening, God's willing, with this other topic, interesting topic here. So you can read through it and you can make your comments. It's a really interesting topic, yes? Have you ever seen it like that?
Yes. Interesting and practical too, to really develop your mind as married person too, sir. Right? It's really changing your mind, you know, sir. It
Well-
really changing your mindset, because if you really want to do, because that's like my wife here, she sit down right here too, but it has sometimes the younger, sir. Younger, not younger, but younger in marriage. My God, if it wasn't for Jesus. Yeah. But it's really a renewing of your mind, sir. I'm going to renew your mind and you're thinking things and you really think it through and them guys and say, girl, you know, that is getting me real, man. And but try and do that, man. Don't go. Don't do them kind of thing, girl. Don't go. You know, it's really a renewing of your mind. Miss Lydia already had this class.
So we'll take it up tomorrow, God's willing. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night,
All
everybody.
right, good night,
Brother David, I'm
everyone.
picking you up tomorrow, eh?
God bless. Stand by,
Simon,
Brother David.
keep yourself good.
Sure thing, sir. Pleasant good night.
Okay, good night to all.